So you're standing in the fishing aisle and it feels like the walls are closing in. You're surrounded by thousands of lures in every color imaginable, dozens of rods, and literally a wall of fishing line with words that might as well be a foreign language. It's overwhelming. You just want to know exactly what you need to catch a trout, and you're thinking there has to be a simpler way. Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're cutting through all of that noise. Forget breaking the bank or losing your mind trying to figure it all out. Stick with me and I'll give you a simple, proven way with just a handful of items that'll get you out on the water and catching fish this weekend. This is Trout Fishing Simplified. All right, first things first, the rod, reel, and line. This is the heart of your setup, and it's where most beginners get paralyzed, but it's actually incredibly simple. What you're looking for is a lightweight spinning rod reel combo. For trout, a rod between 6 and 7 feet long is the perfect sweet spot for a beginner. A 6'6" is the undisputed jack of all trades, giving you enough length to cast far, but keeping things manageable for tighter spots. You'll see these sold together as a combo, which is exactly what you want. Don't feel like you need to spend a fortune. A reliable combo from a brand you recognize will serve you well for years. The magic words you're looking for are light, ultralight, power. That just means the rod is sensitive enough to feel a trout's subtle bite and flexible enough to make fighting them an absolute blast. I actually prefer a medium light rod, 6'6" myself, and with a fast tip. So that's what I use in particular. So I've tried all kinds of poles and reels. This is what I ended up with. A Shimano Stratic 2500 with 10-pound braid, I would suggest, and a spinner setup like this with a tiny little snap and a 6'6" ugly stick. You can see right there exactly what it is. I'll read it out to you. That's a USS T602M 6 foot. I do use a 6'6", but 6 foot action, medium, 6 to 15 pound line. It's an IM6 type rod with the fiberglass tip, ceramic eyes. So this thing is my favorite because ugly sticks are durable and quality at the same time, and they won't break the bank. Now, the reel might come with line on it already. If not, if you want to be absolutely sure you've got the right stuff, here's the secret. Get yourself a spool of 4 to 6 pound monofilament line if you're going to fish for live bait. Otherwise, get 10-pound test braided line. And I use the Power Pro braid. You'll see other options like fluorocarbon also. They have their own uses. But monofilament is the perfect set of training wheels. It's forgiving, easy to tie the knots, and it has a bit of stretch that acts as a shock absorber when a trout starts thrashing. While some might suggest an 8-pound test for bigger fish, sticking to 4 to 6 pound test is ideal for most situations you'll encounter as a beginner. So to recap, 6 to 7 foot light action spinning combo and some 6-pound mono or braid. Braid if you're spinner fishing. That's it. That's your entire casting system sorted. Here is my rod, the one-piece St. Croix. Got my rod rule on so I can measure all my fish for accurate lengths of the trout I catch, and then I have the scale. So anyway, here's the one piece. Yeah, it's a try not to break the tip. That's the one thing I hate about these one pieces. Not only trying to get out of the woods with them, putting them in your vehicle, there's never enough room. You always snap them off in the door. So yeah, this particular one is a TRS6OLF light power fast action SC2 carbon 48-pound test, 16th ounce to 5/16 ounce spinners or weight or whatever you want to call it. I'll be setting that up with my Fluger lightweight cork handle President XT reel. Really tiny, really small, but I'm going to set up the trout magnet rig with this reel. Number 3 is for serious fishing and offshore applications. Penn has dominated fishing for over 85 years, building rods specifically engineered for corrosive marine environments. Corrosion-resistant guides, reinforced blanks, and components designed to withstand saltwater, freshwater abuse. Penn's rods excel in surf fishing, pure applications. There's nothing worse for an angler than to make a great cast and then hook a monster fish only to lose it when their line snaps. Monofilament that is, fluorocarbon, and braided line from different brands can look similar, but when it's time to catch, knowing the difference is key to landing more fish. The best fishing line for most people is the Spider Wire Stealth Braid. Good for catching everything from tiny bluegill to FD Coho salmon. And it's super strong, durable, and cast far. But you need to use special knots to get the most out of it. If you're on a budget, the do everything well Berkley Trilene XL, which stands for extra limp castable, is the best buy for fishing line for the majority of fishing environments. It's a surprisingly flexible monofilament that beginners can use to tie nearly every kind of fishing knot. Reputable success. If you're after very smart pressured fish in clear water, a better, stealthier option is to consider a low-vis fluorocarbon like Berkley Vanish fluorocarbon that is truly difficult to spot underwater. Using the right pound test, the right type, and brand is also important. I suggest using Power Pro braid 10-pound tests for spinner fishing for trout. This is what I use with my setup. Braid is exactly what I use exclusively for spinner fishing. When I fish with night crawlers, I prefer Trilene XL monofilament. Monofilament, on the other hand, is used for live bait such as night crawler. Don't make the mistake of using the wrong type of line with the wrong bait. Using a crawler with braided line will get you too much twist. Using spinners on mono will get you too much twist also. Both will end up with a bird's nest, which is a tangled mess of line. Be careful not to buy cheaper, less known brands. The cheaper line has weak spots and it's prone to snapping. Next, we'll discuss the engine of the whole operation, the reel. Here are the 3 reels that I use on my way to find my favorite. Number 1, Pflueger President, size 30, right left handle position, graphite body and rotor. Corrosion resistant, aluminum spool, front drag system. It is rated 9.4, excellent. You can get those for 40, 50, 60 bucks depending. All right, so now we get to the fun part. The holy trinity of trout catchers. Okay, now for the meat and potatoes. Fun stuff that actually tricks a fish into biting. Of the thousands of lures out there, you only need to master 3 basic types to be successful almost anywhere. I call this the holy trinity of trout catchers. First up, the inline spinner. Brands like Mepps, Panther Martin, Blue Fox are legendary for a reason. Spinner is just a metal blade that spins around a wire when you reel it in, creating flash vibration that perfectly imitates a small bait fish. It triggers a trout's predatory instinct like nothing else. The beauty of the spinner is its simplicity. You tie it on, cast it out, and just reel it in. That's it. You play with the speed. Sometimes they want it fast, other times they want it slow and lazy. Pro tip in a river. Cast slightly upstream and let the current help your spinner look like a struggling bait fish. If you only buy one lure, make it a silver or gold spinner, 1/8 ounce to roughly, it just flat out catches fish. Next in our trinity is the easiest way to catch a trout, especially a stocked one. Floating bait, specifically something like Berkley Powerbait. This stuff is scented, bright colored dough that tastes like pellets. This stuff is a scented, brightly colored dough that smells and tastes like pellets. Many hatchery fish, trout, are fed. You can't just glob it on a hook. You need a simple setup called a slip sinker rig, often called a Carolina rig. Sounds technical, but it's a breeze. First, you slide a small egg sinker onto your main line. Second, tie the barrel swivel on. It stops the sinker. Take 18-inch piece of your line, called your leader, and tie it to the end of the other swivel. Finally, tie a small bait hook around 6 to 8 to 10. I use 6s, they're bigger, the end of the leader. Mold a little bit of the power bait around the hook, covering it completely. When you cast out, the sinker drops to the bottom, but the buoyant bait floats up. Dangling right where the trout can see it, a fish can grab it and swim off without feeling the sinker's weight, giving you the perfect window to set the hook. This one rig is responsible for countless first-time trout memories. The final piece of our trinity is the humble jig, specifically a small one like trout mag. These are just tiny hooks with a small weight molded to them, a jig head, and a soft glass body that looks like a bug. Marabou jigs are also fantastic because they pulse and breathe in the water, looking incredibly alive. The trout magnet is brilliant. For a beginner, the best way is to fish it under a small bobber. Clip the bobber on your line, then tie the trout magnet on about 2 to 4 feet below it. Cast it out, let it sit. The slightest current or breeze will make that little jig dance under the float, and trout can't stand it. When that bobber disappears, you've got one. So, all right, we've covered the core gear and the 3 must-have lure types. If this is clearing things up for you, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. We post simple, no-nonsense guides like this all the time to help you become a better trout angler. It also lets me know that we're on the right track. Now let's get back to the small stuff that makes a huge difference. The little things. Your terminal tackle. You got the rod, the line, the holy trinity. You're almost ready, but you need a few small supporting items. This is your terminal tackle, and it all fits in one tiny little box. First, there's an assortment of bait hooks, sizes 6 to 10 will have you covered for powerbait or with live worms or with the gulp minnow. Second is a pack of barrel swivels. We already know that they're essential to the powerbait rig, but also great at preventing line twists when using spinners. And third, a small container of split shot weights. They're little weights that you can crimp onto your line to add casting distance or to get your bait deeper down under a bobber. And split shot sinkers prepares you for nearly any on-the-fly adjustment. So there's also a supporting cast. Must-have tools. We're in the home stretch. The last category is tools. You don't need a garage full of gadgets, just 2, maybe 3 key items. The number one most important tool, other than the rod itself, is a pair of pliers or hemostats. Trout often swallow hooks and are trying to dig a tiny hook out with your fingers. It's tough on you and deadly for the fish. A pair of needle nose pliers or even hemostats let you get a grip and remove hooks quickly and safely. This is non-negotiable. I use the curved hemostats most often. You can use the straight hemostats. You can use pliers depending on what size of fish. And you don't want to get those treble hooks embedded into the bone of your finger. Second tool I can't recommend enough is a landing net. Sure, you can drag a trout onto the bank, but a net is so much better for the fish, especially if you plan to release it. A lightweight rubber mesh net is ideal because it's perfect for the fish's delicate slime coat. It dramatically increases your odds of landing the fish that you work so hard to hook. And for the final secret weapon, a pair of polarized sunglasses. These are more important than just eye protection, which is important walking through the woods so you don't get your eyes poked out. They're a fish finding tool. Cutting the glare on the water surface, they allow you to see the fish, the structure, and the drop-offs you would have never spotted otherwise. It's like having X-ray vision for the water. So let's talk cheap. Let's prove this simple kit works. And I'm going to try it out here at this. We're out here at a local trout stream about 20 miles from my house. Perfect place for any beginner to start. So I'm going to use the spinner. Got a 1/4 ounce Panther Martin type. I have 10-pound braided line, just making casts in a fan shape to cover all the water in front of me and start a slow, steady retrieve. You want to feel that blade thumping as it spins. This is how you know it's worked. I'm going to try the powerbait rig. So you cast her out and let her drift. Here's an example. So the conclusion to this story is, and really that's all it takes to get started. So the conclusion to this story, let's boil it down one last time. Need a light action spinning combo with 6-pound test, the holy trinity of a spinner, powerbait, and a small jig, and a tiny box of hooks, swivels, and split shot, and a pair of pliers. That's the core kit. A net, polarized glasses are game changers, but you can absolutely start with just those basics. The point is, you don't need to be an expert on every lure in the store. Trout fishing can and should be simple and fun. This minimalist kit empowers you to walk into any shop with confidence, grab exactly what you need, and get out there and catch fish. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helped demystify things. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments. Do my best to answer every single one. If you want more no-nonsense guides to trout fishing, sure to like and subscribe. Get out there, have fun, and go catch some fish. Easy beginner tutorial on trout fishing essentials. And for this one, I got my super duper great white reel, the 4 wide. They don't make this anymore. 5-to-4 gear ratio, stainless steel. The drag on this thing's phenomenal. Built this rod myself, 94. This is a G Loomis. You can see that. And this is a 8 through 17 line weight. It's to an ounce, 3/4 of an inch to an ounce. I am 6 blank. It took me a long time. Steelhead rod. And I got, I think, 14-pound braided line on here. So now I gotta check the box here. So this is a box full of trout magnets, all different shapes and sizes. And then you have all of the gold jigs. Those little tiny ones are the actual, I don't think you can see them. Those are the actual trout magnet. They come with these little floats, little football floats. So that's what I'll be putting on. Fortunately, I didn't have fluorocarbon with me, so we will. So you can see the current, so I might as well let the current take it. Should have wore the waders. It's kind of nice though because it's just free floating. Really deep here, so I would normally put sinkers on. Didn't have that with me, but you want to get up by the current. You want to get over by the wall. Early morning. You didn't have much rain, so, and they're not letting any water out, so there's probably not enough current here to, I mean, this current's good, but you want a big flow, and you want the rain to drive these fish in. We're talking steelhead and anadromous browns. They used to plant them in here years ago, and it was fabulous. Now basically it's just a walleye thing. So anyway, I'm way up there. Anyway, this is how you use the trout magnet. As you can see with this braided line, it's very castable. This kind of fishing, you got to watch your bobber. As soon as it goes down, set the hook. Whether it's a rock or a snag, it doesn't matter. Because it's usually a fish. Especially if you drift it through a number of times and nothing happens, and then you drift it through the same section, it goes down, most likely it's a trout. Let the current take it. Put sinkers on, didn't have that with me, but you want to get up by the current, you want to get over by the wall. Morning. You didn't have much rain, so, and they're not letting any water out, so you got to watch your bobber. As soon as it goes down, set the hook. Whether it's a rock or a snag, it doesn't matter, because it's usually a fish. Especially if you drift it. Anyway, this is how you use the trout magnet. Like I said, again, mend that extra line just like fly fishing. I think my third technique style is going to be the best, which is the spinner. But to tell you the truth, the spot, I don't know. There might be a couple big ones in here, but there's no one fishing. That gives you an idea, even though it is deer hunting right now. So it's my favorite time to steelhead fish because they're hunting. But you have to have the weather cooperate. It's too warm. You didn't get enough rain, so on and so forth. All right, well, I'm going to wrap that up. So now you know how to bait this up. You know how to bait it up. You know how to cast it. That's what you would do with the trout magnet. You can use that on spring ponds. It works pretty good. Just got to get your depth adjusted properly and pay attention. So, might need a roll cast. Look at this. It's causing problems right away, which it should. I got so much wind. I probably want to bring it down here and shoot it. Take the current and shoot it up that way. Nope. Sometimes you spring load it. You let the current take it down, and then, like a slingshot, you can get it up there. If I hook it on this without it, I forgot the net. But anyway, twitch it along. So, you might need a roll cast. Look at this. It's causing problems right away, which it should. I got so much wind. I probably want to bring it down here and shoot it. Take the current and shoot it up that way. Nope. Sometimes you spring load it. You let the current take it down, and then like a slingshot, you can get it up there. If I hook it on this without it, I forgot the net. But anyway, twitch it along. Try a roll cast. I don't know if that'll work, it's too windy. So yeah, better off loading it downstream and slingshotting it back up. So that would be a technique you would use when you're using this. You want to kind of slap it down, get the attention, get their attention. So that's technique number 2. And I'm running through this real quick just because of the lack of lighting. Try a roll cast. I don't know if that'll work, it's too windy. So yeah, better off loading it downstream and slingshotting it back up. So that would be a technique you would use when you're using this. You want to kind of slap it down, get the attention, get their attention. So that's technique number 2. And I'm running through this real quick just because of the lack of lighting. If the water's high and you go into this, that's a deep hole. All right, this is my best chance at actually hooking something. So just reel her nice and slow. You can feel the blade going. Anything's gonna hit, it'll hit this. I do like fresh spawn and spawn sacks. And we're talking mainly right now, we're talking lake run trout. But resident trout, it's pretty much the same thing. This big hole here, you could catch anything from a sturgeon to salmon to a whitefish to pink salmon, which aren't supposed to be in here, to splake, to rainbows, to browns, and everything else in between, maybe even lake trout. I didn't bring my temperature gauge today, but in either way, with weather like this, who cares if you catch a fish? It's just fun to be out here and then having the opportunity and the excitement of possibly hooking one until you finally do hook one. Then it becomes exciting. It's exciting either way because you just never know when you go fishing. I would love to scuba dive in here and see what's in here. I'd like, oh, that might have been a hit. Love to scuba dive in here and all the pools below all the waterfalls I know of, just to see what's actually in these holes. I've caught some gigantic rainbows in here in the past, in the early years. And there's smallmouth and everything else, sheephead. But mainly in the spring, I mean, the DNR stopped the stocking for the most part. They do the walleyes instead. But you still get some lake runs that come in here. Who cares if you catch a fish? It's just fun to be out here. And then having the opportunity and the excitement of possibly hooking one until you finally do hook one. Then it becomes exciting. It's exciting either way, because you just never know when you go fishing. Peace, thanks a lot. The battery's dying. Thanks for watching Wisconsin Trout Fisherman. Like I said, a lot more how-to videos coming in the future, and teaching you guys, helping you guys so that you guys can do the same thing I do. Especially if you want to be a videographer, I'll show you everything that I use, including my solar setup for my charging station in my truck, to the batteries, the cameras, the information. Can't show you my records, but I do keep records, which you can always refer to that, and it's great for every year conditions and trying to find these fish, even though they go in 4-year cycles roughly, and your timing. So more of that to come. Please like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Wisconsin Trout Fisherman, good fishing.